What's going on? Welcome back to Phil's Food Review. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for tons of food adventures and hit the like button if you enjoy. It really helps with that YouTube algorithm. So today, I'm taking you to somewhere so exciting. I was so excited when I heard about this place. It's called Enigma Fine Dining. It's in Yorkville, the luxury part of town, and the chef has some great experience. Chef Quinton Bennett has international experience working in cities like Cape Town, South Africa, all the way to Vancouver, Canada. Some of his most notable experiences include being a trainee for 3 months at Noma, which is in Copenhagen. Known for their redefining of Nordic cuisine, has previously ranked best restaurant in the world and is now ranked number 2 with 2 Michelin stars. After that, he was a senior sous chef for several years at Northcote in England, serving modern British cuisine, and also has 1 Michelin star. With that extensive experience, he's come to Toronto to create his own restaurant named Enigma Fine Dining. So one thing I gotta tell you guys before we actually start eating the food is that when you order it and you pick it up from their store, you have to bring it home with you and you have to put them in the oven. So anything that needs warming up, they give you this set of instructions for each dish on how you should warm them up before you eat them. So that's just one thing to know before we start the meal. So we ordered 2 sets. So the first set, we got the potato as an appetizer, and then we got the pathivier, which is a puff pastry with like a vegetable filling inside. And the last one we got was an apple crumble. And then the second set, we got Ratatouille with a beef Wellington. And the beef Wellington serves 2 people, and it's an extra $40 if you wanted the beef Wellington. The third thing we got was the bread pudding. So now let's enjoy the meal. This first dish, I think it's called Gratin. And it's potato slices and some cream. So it looks super creamy, it smells delicious. There's a little char on the top here. It's so nice and soft. It's really, really creamy. Like, I can't imagine how soft these potatoes are. Really, they're like on a next level of sauce. Like they've been cooking and boiling for like hours. That's how soft it is, and it's just like it melts in your mouth. And it's so creamy, and the flavor it's like so rich. It's so good. The next dish is the Ratatouille, and unlike the movie, that cartoon where they laid it out really nicely in a circle, Ratatouille is not really like that. It's a stewed vegetable dish, so it's gonna look more or less like this. So let's see how the flavor is though. Here you can see there's a bit of, I think those are cucumbers, you got eggplant, you got tomatoes, you got bell peppers. There's a whole wide array of vegetables. The sauce is really nice. I'm not sure, it tastes tomato based, of course, maybe with some basil inside. Has a really nice light flavor. It does taste like they've been stewed. The vegetables are nicely cooked. They're not overcooked and super mushy. They're not undercooked and super crunchy. They're like perfect level. So this next one is called pathivier, and I think it's a puff pastry stuffed with a bunch of different vegetables. And here we got a vegetable jus and then kale. I'm just gonna cut this right open and then pour some of that sauce right in. Oh, immediately from that crunch, you hear it from the puff pastry. It's super flaky. And right there, you see nice layer of vegetables. I can smell a lot of mushroom coming out of this actually. So here we got a bit of that vegetable jus. Just gonna pour it all over it. That's nice. It's like a sweet flavor to that. That puff pastry is so light, so fluffy. It's so flaky too. really crumbles in your mouth. You can get a whiff of like all that vegetable inside. I think there's a lot of mushroom in here. Like I really have that smell coming from it. I'm not 100% sure, but it really tastes good. It's such a great flavor. The insides are insane. And mixed with that sauce, that sweetness of the sauce mixed with that vegetable, it's so good. Now that I dig more closely in it, it's almost like there's maybe a little bit of like squash, or there's definitely onion in here. Maybe some squash or pumpkin also. And really nice creamy insides to it with that flaky outside. It's like a perfect vegetable pie. Oh, and now some of the kale that goes along with it. Looks like it's in a cream sauce. It's nice and creamy, and like a lot of times when you eat kale, it's very hard and get really earthy flavor coming out of it. This doesn't. It's like cooked to perfection. It's like just tastes like a very soft vegetable, which is typically not really what you get from kale. It's really nicely done kale, and that creaminess of the sauce is really nicely complementing it. Yeah, I really like this. It's like a kale slaw almost in a sense. Last but certainly not least for the entrees is the beef Wellington. This has got me so excited. It looks so good. If you could smell just the smell of the puff pastry, it's like, it's so good. It's so good. It just like makes you like start drooling. Oh my goodness. It's so flaky. Oh my god. And you see that middle is cooked perfectly. Perfect, like medium rare. You get the really nice whiff of that beef tenderloin, and it's so juicy. The juices are already flowing out. Wow. So flaky. And beef tenderloin in there just melts in your mouth. It's so soft. It's not chewy at all. It melts in your mouth right when it goes in. It packs a punch with flavor. That's so much flavor coming out of it. The juices are really flowing out. It's captured nicely in there, so that juices don't like when it's fully baked. Juices don't leak out and like make the puff pastry very very soggy. It's really nicely done. The crust is amazing. Like it's absolutely perfect. It's so nicely seasoned too. Like there's no way you get this kind of flavor at any normal restaurant. This is like really good quality meat, really well done puff pastry. I'm sure they did everything in house. It's like so flavorful, so good. I'm gonna like devour this in a matter of seconds. So the beef Wellington also came with a truffle jus. So I'm gonna try this. It smells so fragrant, like that truffle flavor was coming out. You just get a huge whiff of truffle right when you dip it in and you put it in your mouth. Get that truffle instantly, and it really complements it. It infuses so nicely with that beef. The truffle and beef combination is just out of this world. You really gotta try this for yourself, and once you try it, I don't think you'll ever go back to another place for beef Wellington. So our first dessert that we got is the apple crumble, and it came with this sauce. Right off the bat, after it comes out of the oven, you smell tons of caramel, that apple, and it's like perfectly caramelized and like melts it up all together. It looks really good and it smells amazing. I wish you could smell this. It's so soft. What a crunch. You get that crunch from, I think it's the caramelized sugar on top. Oh, it's so nice. And then like the apple, it just melts in your mouth. Like some of them have like chunks of apple. I think they have like really thin layers here, so that when you're cutting through it, it's like perfectly buttery smooth, and it's just packed with so much flavor. It's such a great flavor. There's not many apple crumbles that could get much better than this. It's so good. As I'm eating this, I realize there's like a nice whiff of cinnamon and caramel as well, and it's so nice. The flavors melt together so well. It's like a melting pot of all these flavors, and it just like swirls around in your mouth like with so much aroma. It's so beautiful. This next one we got is the bread pudding, and as I'm looking at it, there's like a ton, like there's a sauce all over it. It looks like it's caramel. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll see what it is when I bite into it. There's some whipped cream on the side and some pistachios over top of it. On the box it said croissant pudding, so I guess this is a type of croissant that they put instead of like any normal type of bread. So I think it is a caramel cream. The bread is really nice. That caramel adds a ton of flavor, and the bread has, I think, some raisins inside, and as like when you bite into it, as like that kick of flavor, all the juices just pop through. After taking a couple bites of the bread pudding, I realized that it's not much of a croissant. At least I don't think it is. Tastes like just like some bread, and then with some like raisin bread, and then covered with caramel, some whipped cream, and the caramel for sure adds like tons of flavor. It's really nice. So we just wrapped up the meal. Overall, what did I think of this place? I think if you dined in, it would be so beautiful. The environment is amazing. I'm sure the plating would be so great as well. It's going to be beautiful to your eyes before you eat it. Having it takeaway, like, you obviously don't get that part of the experience, but the food itself is really, really great. So out of the appetizers, I like the potato more than the ratatouille. Ratatouille, I don't know. I don't see many places that are able to really like elevate ratatouille. Ratatouille is like a stew, right? So it's one of those things that can be done very well, and they did. But I don't know what like next level you can put to it. So for the mains, the entrees, I like both of them a lot. So the puff pastry was like perfect, super flaky. It's like so nice to eat, and it's done very well. Like the beef Wellington is a lot though, so if you're ordering it, like it does tell you it's for 2 people. I just wanted to get it because I wanted to try it. But it is a really huge portion, but it tastes great. So if you really want to get that, that's one I would definitely recommend. If you get the other one, the vegetable with the puff pastry, that's also very solid, very great. And in terms of the desserts, I preferred the apple crumble. I think that was like top-notch apple crumble. Like, I don't think any place I've ever been to beats that. But the bread pudding was like all right. I didn't think it was like at that same level as that bread pudding. So right now, given that everything's takeout, this is like a tremendous value. So for $40, you can get all the works. You get the appetizer, you get the main, although I must say there's only 2 choices for the main at that $40 price point, and that's one of the puff pastry with the vegetables, as well as I think it was a fish. Everything else, if you want something different, you have to add a little bit more money. But honestly, the beef Wellington, extra $40, I think that's completely worth it. And then the dessert, you also get the dessert with the meal. So for $40, I think that's tremendous value. You should totally get this, bring it home, bake it up, and then eat it. You won't regret the meal at all. So huge recommendation, huge applause to the chef here. They did a fantastic job. Everyone should check it out. If you liked the video, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like. Let me know in the comment section what other fine dining restaurants are there in Toronto or anywhere else that's amazing. Where have you been that's a great place to be? So until next time, peace.